Gosh darn it, it's time to learn about the Pokemon TCG. This was brought on because, well, Pokemon Arceus has just come out, and I've been enjoying that game so much, but it made me start to think, what are other Pokemon games or experiences that are different that I, as someone who loves Pokemon, can experience and actually jump into? And honestly, I thought of the Pokemon TCG pretty quickly, mostly because I've been lately just playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. Well, it's mostly the only format of Commander with friends who are nearby, so it wasn't hard to think of a different trading card game. So join me on this journey as we try to learn the Pokemon TCG in, well, 2022. So I did kind of lie when I said that I didn't know the Pokemon Trading Card Game rules at all or really know anything about it. Growing up, I actually got to, at one point in time, play the Pokemon Trading Card Game on the Game Boy. Now, this is a game I really want to play at some point and actually probably review at some point for this channel. For right now, that was a little bit of knowledge that I got about this game. So where else to learn about the rules than, well, another game? Yes, I did go to YouTube also, but we'll get to that. So there is a Pokemon Trading Card Game online website game access thing that you could play. It's a thing. Now I will say this is not as updated as maybe if you know from Magic the Gathering, the Magic the Gathering Arena. That's pretty flashy and looks nice and crisp. This looks old school for sure. But hey, the game does have a pretty good tutorial to where you slowly learn the game's mechanics and slowly even get own cards of your own. And it's all for free, so it was really no loss at all. So if you're somebody like me who needs a little bit of hands-on-ness to actually learn something, this was a good spot, at least for me, to start learning this game. One thing I also hate about this game that I hate about all online TCG games, I guess, sites, whatever, is trying to start getting cards. See, if I'm somebody who's actually buying physical cards, I don't want to also be going in, playing, and buying those cards, well, online. I wish I could use those cards physically because I already bought them online. Honestly, this is why I don't like playing Magic Arena a lot, but luckily, Magic the Trading Card Game Online does a awesome thing. They actually have these cards where you can scan the QR card or put in the code and you actually get what you bought. So, well, I guess one complaint aside. Doesn't mean I have to buy cards though before I can really get a good deck. Because sadly, there is a problem with the Pokemon Trading Card Game, and it's called the power creep. To simplify what I mean by power creep, basically how the game is right now, you really need just the newest and the best cards because the new cards are better than the old cards. The old cards are kind of pointless. But yes, my journey first started here at the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. I had a good time learning the mechanics and it got me pumped for playing in person. So what are the rules of this Pokemon TCG game? Well, let's give a quick rundown. The cards, after you have shuffled them and obviously let a friend tap it, you roll heads or tails to see who goes first. Then from there, well, actually, I guess in the real world, you actually just roll a dice. I guess it's simpler, but you roll heads or tails to see who goes first. And then from that, you draw some cards, and that is your hand that you get to play with. It's weird how Pokemon TCG has a really, I think, dumb mulligan rule. Mulligan means if you have a bad hand and you want to basically redo it. That's the slang for it. And while there are house rules, obviously, Magic the Gathering, I actually love its mulligan rule. The Pokemon's kind of dumb. If you have a Pokemon, a basic Pokemon that you can play, you have to keep that hand, which is so dumb, but whatever. So yes, starting off with Pokemon, right off the bat, you have to put down a basic Pokemon. That's the only one that you can start with. Because one thing that does make Pokemon TCG very unique is that you get to do evolving. Your Pokemon get to evolve. Now, it's not right off the bat. It does take a whole turn before you can do it, but for free, you get to evolve Pokemon. So how it starts off really is you put one Pokemon up to be battling, and then you have a bench. It's basically like in the actual Pokemon game, when you have a party of Pokemon. You can only have up to 5 Pokemon in your party because, well, altogether, that makes 6 Pokemon. So it fits in with the game's rules, which is really cool. Now you have items and supports, and you can use as many items as you want. They're really good and useful at drawing cards and other stuff like searching Pokemon. Trainers, though, are very broken, and so basically they can be only used once per turn. So once you have Pokemon down, you have to equip energies to a Pokemon. You can only, unless you use a different card that says otherwise, you actually can only put in one energy at a time onto a Pokemon. Depending on what the card says, putting in the energy on it that works for it, you could use said move. Now, how do you win in Pokemon TCG? Simple. Every single time you take out one of your opponent's Pokemon, you get a prize card, which is actually 6 cards from the top of your library, which is kind of neat. They're set aside, but every single time you take out one of those, you get to pick up one of your prize cards, and you actually get to put it in your hand and use it, which is kind of cool. But once you've gotten all 6 prize cards, then boom blammy, you win the game. That is the rough rules for Pokemon TCG. Don't roast me in the comments for saying anything wrong or whatnot, or leave something out. The next step I took was, well, going online to YouTube. See, here's the thing. If I'm going to buy cards, I don't want to be wasting money, because I'm broke. Personally, through Magic the Gathering, how I normally buy cards is I look up a deck formation, I look up cards I want to get for a specific deck I want to build, and then I buy singles through that. That way, I don't waste money. The other method of buying packs, while it is fun to see, oh, what am I going to get? The reality is you are going to be losing so much money this way if you want to actually build an actual deck through it. So to start off right at the bat, I just wanted to be able to buy something that would be a deck that I could just play with somebody right then, right there. Through online, what I saw that was pretty common and was like, hey, this is a good thing to start with, is themed decks. Cool. Now the next step is, let's see if we can actually find these out in the wild. I didn't mention this before, but I do have some cards. While only a few, like 5% of cards that I have is cards that I had when I was growing up. Somehow, I don't know what it is, but when you're a child, you lose cards so easily. I don't know what it is. But I do have a Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes for both of the doggos. I had this because, honestly, this was one of those times when you're like, hey, I'm going to buy it and it'll be an investment. And then you turn up, you're going to open it at some point. So this video came along and I opened it. So we do have those cards, but I still wanted to buy a pack and be able to just have that. So after wrangling a friend to join me on this journey of getting into the Pokemon TCG, we ended up going to a local game store and picking up a, well, something that was actually a little bit too perfect for what we needed at the moment. My friend and I ended up buying a new Fusion Strike Battle Box. It was great because, for one, it had energies, which for some reason is hard to get, which is kind of dumb if you think about it. But it did have enough supplies that you should be able to have 2 decks and be able to battle them right there and then. One thing I mentioned about my friend also that I haven't mentioned yet is that he's one of my friends that I play with regularly for Commander at Magic the Gathering. Turns out he loves Pokemon TCG and he has done it for a long time in the past, but he has stepped away from it because, well, it costs money. So maybe it was a bad idea to grab him. Maybe I was bringing him back to an old enemy, a addiction. So once back home, we were able to finally open up and see what we got and what we could actually use to, well, build decks and then hopefully play. Honestly, opening these cards again felt so nostalgia, and while it felt very different this time going through, while having my own little experience that I have through playing Magic the Gathering and looking for, oh, what cards will actually help me out in building a deck, but just also the nostalgia of finding different Pokemon and seeing what Pokemon I'm going to get next, what can I actually add to my collection, and actually feeling like a Pokemon trainer collecting Pokemon. And honestly, it's just so much fun, and it's different than pulling for Magic the Gathering. So, well, I got some really cool cards, whether it was from the Sword and Shield boxes that I already had, or if it was from the Fusion Strike boxes. My friend's the one who actually lucked out the most, technically. He was able to pull a card that was worth about $150, a good old, delicious-looking Espeon. Now, while I don't really care too much about Espeon, a VMAX beautiful one, well, that costs $150, it's a nice card to have. Good on him. Now, after opening up all the boxes and having some fun with that, now it was time to separate and organize and see what we actually have. So, obviously, I proceed to separate every Pokemon into their different typing. And then, of course, putting all the trader cards / items / support all in one old deck too. Once that was all done, then it was time to actually see what kind of deck do I want to build. Yes, this is partially going to be decided based on what we could actually build, but not only that, but also what I am actually kind of wanting to build. Now, through playing the Pokemon online, I didn't actually learn the actual statistics of what you kind of want in your deck. I only knew that you have 60 cards in your deck, but I didn't know anything else. Luckily, my friend, since being someone who actually played a lot of TCG and went to tournaments and whatnot, he was able to tell me a rough guesstimate of numbers that are, well, will help you out. He told me within the 60 cards that I had in my deck that I should have roughly around 12 to 15 energies, 12 to 16 Pokemon, and 29 to 36 trainer supports / items. This is because, well, funny enough, those trainer supports and items are your bread and butter. They will make or break your deck for sure. And luckily, due to the boxes we got, whether it was the Sword and Shield or others, we had some actually good, well, trainer cards, which was very nice to have. When deciding what to actually make in my deck, I actually leaned more into, well, Pokemon that I really have been wanting to play that have been in my collection. One of them specifically was Deoxys. Deoxys is one of my favorite legendaries, so I decided on going on a Psychic type, well, deck. Now, to be honest, this probably wasn't the best decision to do because this specific Deoxys is built around the Pokemon Plasma Freeze kind of era. So I don't really have a lot of cards to go with that. So Deoxys really is just there to be there. But hey, at least I am Mewtwo. Now I guess I just have to wait and see what my so-called friend decides to do. But while I'm waiting, time to put on some sleeves. So I got these sleeves from the Pokemon Elite Trainer boxes of the Sword and Shield, and it's weird because I use sleeves for all my Magic the Gathering cards because obviously you want to protect your cards, especially you pay a lot of money for it. The Pokemon TCG sleeves are known for being just trash, just awful, and I don't hate these, but I guess they get the job done. And now that my friend has finally made his own deck, and sleeved up also, it's time to battle! Luckily, I was able to win the dice roll, or technically the coin flip, and I was able to decide who got to go first. I chose to go first mostly because I wanted to get set up as soon as possible. Sadly, there was the consequence of going first, so I didn't get to attack first turn, but hey, that's okay. As long as I can get set up, I'm fine with this. Also, as a side note, this is going to be very unique. I don't have the equipment to really record TCG in-person physical gameplay. So I hope you just have fun with this almost old school, old-timey recording style. So my friend ended up actually building a steel deck. And one thing we both joked around about, and I have to make it clear, my friend had gotten so many Wooloos that we decided that yes, he has to at least make Wooloo part of his deck. And leading off right off the bat, he has Wooly up front and ready to oppose my friends. Luckily, I have a good old Munna, and I'm excited to get Mushan out there so that I can get some good old nasty sleeps in. Also, I need to mention, because of the training core that my friend put down, oh my gosh, we are going to be getting a lot of energies back onto the field from a Discord, and that's going to be just delicious, especially since he put it on so early in the game. It doesn't take long for him to start whooping on me. I was able to put him to sleep, but it's not enough to keep him asleep. Somehow he's getting some good rolls to wake back up, and his Wooly's doing just enough damage for me to be able to be put on the retreat. Luckily, I do have Mewtwo out, and I've got him a little bit juiced up with energies, and so he's ready to take the offense. So while my friend's having a actually pretty good time of waking back up with sleep, I'm still being able to easily put in sleep and just keep on constantly wrecking him through this. So by switching out Wooloo, he does put in a Stunfish, which scares me a little bit, but because of my massive power of actually being a Mushana now, I am able to just wreck him and get my first prize card. Ooh, does it feel so good to already be ahead. My friend does respond in, well, putting out a Wooloo, but it's not long until he switches it out for a good souped up Ferrothorn. And this Ferrothorn is pretty nasty. It does 30 damage, which is a lot, at least for what we're playing with, for each heads he gets. And he gets to flip 3 coins to decide how much damage he's doing. He could easily take out some of my Pokemon just with one swipe. Luckily, the first time around, doesn't get a lot of heads. Mewtwo gets to stay alive. So the Ferrothorn was able to do some good damage against my bulky Mushana, almost taking it out. But luckily, I had enough power to defeat it and actually get my second prize cards already. What is my friend doing? He's getting wrecked here. I thought he was good at this game. But sadly, it's not long-lived because he's able to put out his Bishop in response and kind of Rick-a-Rooney my Mushana. Poor guy, I hate to see him go. He was able to do so much goodness with his sleep. It's so nasty. A little refresher on sleep in this game. Basically, if a Pokemon's put to sleep, they can't do anything and you almost basically have to skip your turn. You don't have to, you still can play trainer cards, which is good, and put down energies, but you can't attack at all. And in between turns, you have to roll, and if you get heads, you get to wake up. But because of my Mushana, its attack putting it to sleep, it makes you have to flip 2 coins. And if you get 1 tails out of the 2 coin flips, he stays asleep. It's very annoying, but it feels good when you have the annoying thing. But I've had a little bit of time to ramp up for my backup plan when Mushana was going to go down. I was fine with him getting 1 prize card if it meant I could soup up to basically sweep the rest of the game. So I've been souping up my Drampa that I put in this game, and I was able to put him in and wreck with a good old delicious Dragon Pulse and take out this Bishop. And my 3rd prize card is mine. So he was able to put out a Skarmory that was doing a little bit of nasty damage. And so because I was able to actually equip an item to Drampa who had Air Balloon, which allowed it to escape with basically without paying any energy to leave, which was very, very nice. I wanted to keep dropping it in case I wanted to put him out to steal a kill. So I have to allow him to not take damage. I got his Slosis a little bit boosted up, basically due to an expert belt, so he could do more damage and actually have more health. Sadly, this was a little bit to the detriment to me, because his Skarmory was able to take out my Slosis. And because it had the item expert belt on it, my opponent actually got to take 2 cards, not just 1. And out of nowhere, it's tied up again. Man, I missed it when I had the lead. So through shenanigans, my friend got his Skarmory out of the way to keep it protected in case he needs to basically do what I'm doing and snipe in some kills. So because of that, he had a good old squishy target out there named Wooly out on the field. I was able to put out Drampa back out and he was able to wreck Wooly. Sorry, Wooloo, you will be dearly missed, even if you were an enemy. And yes, once again, I am in the lead. It feels so good. So with continuing this tactic of taking out Drampa for free costs and putting out a different Pokemon, I was able to get in good old Mushana. So now I used a really broken Plasma card, which not only was able to possibly put a Pokemon to sleep, but also poison it. And through that poisoning, I was able to barely, very barely, with my second Mushana who is boosted up, to survive a Skarmory attack and through poison actually kill my opponent and getting my second to last prize card. Oh, does it feel so good? I'm so close to victory. My opponent doesn't know what to do. And sadly, at this point in the game, I've just had too much momentum and my friend hasn't been able to really build up his own, well, bench. So he took out a last stand with not a Wooloo, but a large in charge Dubwool to stand guard and to lead the final advance for his team. Sadly, it's not enough. I was able once again to bring out Drampa to wreck this good old boy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, means I am the true victor of this match. What a fun match. I am so glad that I took the step to learn this game. Again, it bewilders me that it's taken me this long to even just try to learn it. Too long for sure. But as I kind of mentioned before, this game really is a light version of Magic the Gathering. You can't blame Wizards for that, really. But there really is a weird feeling I get when I actually play these games or really just see these cards. I can always just out of nowhere go grab a pack and open it up of Pokemon and have a good time no matter what. Just simply due to the fact that I recognize the Pokemon or even the people in it and be like, oh, I've spent years around this franchise. I know this, I relate with this, I love this, or I have some kind of emotion with it. And honestly, comparing that to Magic the Gathering right now for me, I don't get that same experience. All I am is like, I hope this card's good. Is this card good? I don't know. I probably should have just bought singles. Now, I will say because this game is a little bit ruined by power creep that's going on right now, and also due to the fact that, well, it is a little bit more simpler compared to Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering, you can get very complex and very different with what you want to do. I don't think I'm ever going to go too far into this game. Sadly, through making this video, the friend who helped me out, who I got to battle, I kind of brought back his addiction, so he's back on the Pokemon TCG train, which, for better or for worse, I'll at least join him and continue, and we'll see what happens. Maybe later on I'll cover another video on this topic about going to a game shop and playing in person and that kind of experience. But for now, I think this is where I'm pretty content with this game. I'm glad I stepped into it. I'm glad I'm at a spot to where I could do a little bit more. I could play with my friend if I want to, and it's a small thing on the side. As a Pokemon fan at the very least, I can have credit at saying, hey, at least I know how to play the TCG. Hey you, if you want to watch more videos of stuff like this, please subscribe. I need to be saying this so that you can subscribe, so that I can keep doing this. Cool? Cool. Down in the comments if you want to see me do more Pokemon content stuff or other RPGs. Let me know down in the comments, or really anything. I'm up to it. I'm excited and pumped to bring more content to you guys. So again, God loves you. God bless.